Welcome to Design Diary, the podcast where you get to look inside my board game design notebook as well as what's going on inside my head. We look at a new word each day from the sense of mechanics, tone, theme, or inspiration for a full game. Today's word is
nuts, enthusiastic, keen, insane, crazy. Now I don't pick these words; it's the app. So this one's it's a shorty, not the episode. I haven't started recording the episode, but the word is nuts. It's not nuts as in nuts that you eat. It's enthusiastic or keen, which I thought the first definition would be the insane, crazy definition, but enthusiastic and keen is the first, and I'm gonna go with the first. And the one thing I started thinking about was filled with enthusiasm, and how yesterday we talked about filling up a volcano until it bursts, and I thought about getting as excited as possible until you burst, which is all very positive. It's a very good thing. At least for you. Your opponents might get annoyed by it, or might not be as excited. But with that, I started thinking about collecting a set, completing that set, and the best thing in the world happens at that point. For it to be the best thing in the world, I don't think it can be winning the game. That's often the best thing, but if this is going to be the high moment of the game, it can't be the win. It has to be something that makes you feel like, well, now I'm going to win. So it's acting on that peak moment. It's having a combo come together just really perfectly, or things like that. So the one thing I thought was, it's like an excitement track, and the track could be guided by things that you want to accomplish. So early in the game, or as the game goes, you set these goals that you want to accomplish, and maybe with each round you add a new one, and they're from you're given choices of, do I want to do this, or this, and you add it to your excitement track. And if you complete it, then you get this little prize, almost like an achievement or something along those lines. You could also set your own, where you just come up with what you think they should be, but I think if they're not governed, it can get a little wild, and I could just set really dumb, easy ones and just say, I want to get a point or 2 points, and then I want to get 3 points, and as soon as I get those, boom, I've gotten my excitement track moving, and I'm way ahead of my opponents. So I think there has to be something kind of dictating how it works. From there, I kind of leaned on the microphone right there. From there, I kind of leaned on it as a theme, enthusiastic, and I was looking at cheerleading. Cheerleading is as enthusiastic as it can get. You are cheering somebody on, and when they do something well, they are, you're losing your mind. You're going absolutely wild. So I thought about that, and there's a couple things I thought about, and the one thing was, and this has been done by somebody else, and I'm going to give him full credit here. It's a great idea. It was Alex Strang, who I did a game called Movie Plots with. He used to do a 2-player rock, paper, scissors, not a 2-player, a 500-player, big team-building rock, paper, scissors event, where players would go against each other, and when a player would lose, that player was now the supporter of the player that beat them. So now that player is going to play, and if they lose, whoever beats them, now 2 people are supporting them. And eventually you have 500 people on one side and 500 people on another side, or maybe it's not even when I don't know. You have these massive teams cheering on 2 people playing. And I love that. I love that enthusiasm and how it was built into the game. So one of the things I thought of was using that in where when somebody overcomes you in something, that you are now gunning for them in a way. So, for example, I am up against another player in a multiplayer game, and however they one-up me or whatever it is, it's not so much that I lose something or things like that, but now they've gained me as a companion or something like that. Like, like you you lose a fight and then you become that person's best friend. It's just such a weird concept. But I want to think about that in a gaming sense, and I don't know. I like that. But the other thing, so I wrote with cheerleading was give me an A. That is like give me an A is very much like a cheerleading concept, a phrase, and it makes me think of Go Fish. Give me a whatever, a 9 of hearts. But cheerleading as a backdrop to a story is neat. And cheerleading as dexterity stacking is neat because cheerleaders are always making like a human pyramid and doing flips and stuff. And I don't know how you build flips into a stacking game. Actually, I do. You stack things, and then once you've stacked them, you now need to put them on their heads, like flip them over. Imagine just like meeples that are stacked, and then you have to take one and pop it on its head, and then pop it back over, and that's considered a flip. But stacking games are cool. There's things that are really neat in that. Just played Rhino Hero the other day, and that was all very exciting. But it leads me into my final idea, which is probably as offbeat as it gets, which fits the definitions. A word-based dexterity game of stacking. So you're stacking, instead of stacking characters and things like that, you're stacking letters. So if I say to all the other players, give me an A, somebody or everybody has to give me an A. And I thought there could be some really cool things in there with, we all have these letters that we're gaining, maybe secretly, we're pulling from a bag or things like that. We're forming, words secretly behind a screen or something. And there has to be some sort of insight as to what letters that you have. Maybe you have to tell somebody something about the letter or say a word. So I get a letter and then I have to say a word that letter has, that letter's in. So I pull an A and I say the word apple. Now you can gain your insight to that, and maybe the shorter the word, the more valuable that letter is now worth, and things like that. There could be some cool aspects in there. And word games are hard to make cool, so I'm trying. But so what the letters would do, though, is I say give me an A, and if I get one A, great. I add it to my stack. Say I have to take all the A's. So if I say give me an A and too many people have A's, I have to take all of them, and I have to add all of those to my stack. So I'm building this stack of letters. And I never found out what the letters were doing. I thought you could be making a word with them, but I think it'll get out of hand, and I don't know what's going to look like from left to right or anything like that. But I thought if all letters, I don't know that you could do it where they wouldn't just fall on top of each other. But if there was a clear level 1 and then a clear level 2 and a clear level 3, you were gaining certain things for those, and then you formed a word and then gained points based off of what letters they were in. So at the end of the round, it was time to form a word. You look at your stack, you form your word. If things fall down, they can be in the word, but they're maybe worth no points. You can't touch them, things like that. Like your stack is always growing. The things around them are not. I keep hitting this microphone. The cards around them are not. I was really moving my hands around as I was saying this too. But the cards around that fell are they all stay there. It's like the graveyard of fallen cheerleader letters. Cheer letters. Yeah, so I'm really going wild with this one today, but of all words, it's one that I should. So yeah, large stacking letters, a cool pull from the bag, share some information but not too much information, guided by the players, stack them, form your final word, make your move, gain your points, do it again. That's where I got with nuts. Let me hear what you have. Happy to hear everybody's thoughts and chat and all that fun stuff. So thank you. We'll see you again tomorrow.